All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are totally rebooting how we look at plant nutrition. I want you to forget those simple lists of elements you memorized. We're going to look at the plant as what it really is, a complex, super responsive system. You could even call it an intelligent machine. And for all of you agricultural engineers out there, we're basically handing you the new operating manual. Okay, let's dive in. I mean, that description just says it all, doesn't it? We're not talking about some passive thing that just sits there. We're talking about a highly sophisticated piece of biological engineering that is actively managing its world and its own internal workings with, honestly, stunning precision. And that right there, that's the big question for us today. How do we move from just feeding the plant to actually collaborating with its built-in intelligence? Well, to do that, first we have to understand the code it's running on. So let's pop the hood and see what's going on inside. We're going down to the molecular level, looking at the actual decision-making processes that dictate how a plant not only grows, but how it survives and produces. You know, what's so cool about this is that it's a pretty recent discovery. Just think about that for a second. The plant has a built-in timer. It's a molecular switch that lines up nutrient uptake perfectly with when it has solar energy from photosynthesis. It's just a masterclass in energy efficiency. Now, this is absolutely crucial for dealing with real-world conditions out in the field. Think of NLP7 as the plant's strategic commander. When nutrients are everywhere, it says, okay, full steam ahead on growth. But if it's facing stress, like a drought, it completely pivots the plant's entire strategy over to defense and survival. For you as an engineer, getting a handle on this trade-off is the key to building resilience into your crops from the inside out. And this is just a brilliant example of the plant's resource management. I mean, why waste all that energy building a huge root system to look for nitrogen when it's already got plenty? It doesn't. Instead, it flips on this energy saver mode and redirects all that power into growing bigger leaves and stems. So smart. Okay, so we know the plant is sending out all these signals. Now let's talk about the dashboard you can use to actually read them. These are the practical tools you need to diagnose and respond to what the plant needs, basically in real time. So before we apply a single thing to the soil, we have to understand its chemistry. It's never about just one element in isolation. It's all about how they interact. You know, some help each other out, that's synergism, but others get in each other's way, that's antagonism. Getting this balance right is literally the difference between an effective plan and a wasteful one. Here's a quick look at the legendary Mulder's chart, but we're focusing on the negative interactions, the antagonisms. Think of this as your cheat sheet. Let's say you apply too much phosphorus. Well, you could be accidentally locking up all the available zinc and iron, creating a deficiency, even when those nutrients are technically in the soil. Mastering this chart is just fundamental to designing smart, balanced fertilization. And here's a super simple but incredibly powerful rule of thumb for when you're out in the field. The location of a symptom tells you a story. So if the problem is on the older, lower leaves, the plant is actually moving a mobile nutrient from that old tissue to its new growth. But if you see it on the new, upper leaves, it's an immobile element that the plant just can't relocate. It's a quick, logical way to start your diagnosis. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now let's get into the cutting-edge tools for intervention. This is where we go way beyond the traditional stuff and start tapping into biology and material science. This is where it gets really fun. So here's the bottom line. The soil right around the roots, the rhizosphere, it's not just dirt. It's a living, breathing ecosystem that the plant is actively cultivating. It sends out chemical signals to attract all these helpful bacteria and fungi that act like an extension of its own root system. They dissolve minerals, they fight off pathogens, they even help the plant deal with water stress. Managing this living second genome is one of the most powerful things we can do to boost nutrient uptake. Now just look at this efficiency gap. It's huge. We lose about half of all traditional fertilizer. It just washes away or gets locked up in the soil. But nanofertilizers, because their particle size is so tiny and they have a controlled release, they nearly double that efficiency. We're talking about a revolutionary jump forward for precision agriculture. And what does that incredible efficiency actually translate to? Well, it means more nutrients get where they need to go, inside the plant. And that can lead to a potential yield increase of up to 30%. For an engineer, that's not just a small improvement. That is a total game changer. This all brings us to one final, really critical shift in thinking. Let's reframe what nutrition even is. It's not just fuel for growth. It's the foundation of the plant's entire resilience system.
its ability to fight off pests, disease, and stress. It is your #1 defense strategy.
It's simple, really. A well-nourished plant is a well-defended plant. Nutrients like calcium and boron literally build stronger cell walls, making a tougher physical barrier for pathogens to get through. Zinc and manganese, they fire up the plant's internal antioxidant systems. And then you have some, like copper, that have direct antimicrobial properties. See? Balanced nutrition is proactive defense. And this isn't science fiction, it's happening right now. Look at this brand new research. It connects everything we've been talking about perfectly. A single nutrient, calcium, doesn't just build stronger walls, it also helps cultivate a healthier microbiome in the soil, which then tells the plant to ramp up its own internal defensive chemicals. It's just a beautiful, integrated system.
So let's wrap this up. Here's your modern toolkit. #1, read the signs by understanding element mobility, old leaves versus new leaves. 2, design smarter applications by mastering element interactions with Mulder's chart. 3, treat the rhizosphere's microbiome as a living asset. 4, leverage nanotechnology for a massive leap in efficiency. And finally, #5, use your entire nutrition program as your first line of defense.
Ultimately, this changes the whole equation, doesn't it? We're moving from just being providers of inputs to being strategic managers of a whole system where the plant is an active partner. So the final question is for you. Knowing that your fertilization plan isn't just food, it's software, it's an operating system, and it's a defense strategy, how are you going to design yours?